Right. So this week we're going to be focusing on diagramming the scene. Last week and the week before, you worked on crime scene searches and search patterns and all of that. So we're going to assume that we've located all the evidence and now we need to record it somehow. So the way we're going to do that is in three parts. We're going to use photography, we're going to use sketches, and we're going to take notes. The reason for all three is, as you know, things happen, especially with technology. So if all you did was took photographs, which is great, the jury would love to see pictures of what the crime scene looked like, and something happened. Your digital media got corrupted and your files were bad. Now you've lost all your pictures. So what are you going to do? Well, luckily you have your sketches and your notes to fall back on. So photography is going to give us the unaltered condition of the scene. It's going to show us what this scene looked like right after the crime was committed, because nobody's really been in the crime scene since then. Now, that's why it's important while you're doing the previous step, while you're searching the crime scene, that you obey rule number one, which is do not disturb the crime scene. You want these pictures to be as accurate to what the scene looked like as possible. And if it looks like the investigators have gone in and moved a lot of things around, then that sort of tears away at the credibility of your case. So this is what we're using photography for. We want to get overviews of what the crime scene looks like. Give the jury an idea of what you're talking about as you're laying your case out. Remember, the pictures are going to be evidence as well. So we want overviews of the crime scene, wide angle shots that give us the picture of what the entire scene looks like as you first arrive from multiple different angles. Now, keep in mind that the jury has no concept of scale. They have no idea how big or how small your crime scene is. So you have to make sure and frame your shots and give them some kind of reference so that they know exactly what this looks like. We're also going to go back in and we're going to take close-ups of each individual piece of evidence from different angles with different markings and measurements. So one of the things that we're going to have to do is document all of these photographs, which means keeping a log sheet. Sometimes there's somebody that goes around with the photographer and writes all this down, everything from the date and time and who took the picture to maybe if you're using a manual camera, the aperture, the settings that you manually have the camera set on, the lighting conditions. All this information goes onto a log sheet. So it's very, very detailed and way more technical than just walk in, snap a few pictures, and upload them once you get done. So some things that we need to think about with sketches in relation to photographs. Photographs are good, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but a sketch can do things that a photograph can't. It can show the entire scene as one visual image, which a lot of times a photograph can't do, or because of angles or perspective, you don't quite get the detail on the edges that you do in the middle. So a sketch would allow you to be able to see the entire image completely clear. It also allows you to select and get rid of things that might be distracting. If there's lots and lots of items laying around in the picture and you want to focus on one particular piece of evidence, you can actually leave those items out on your sketch, or you can use overlays where you can eliminate those. But it gives a lot more detail in a sketch, and you can focus the jury's attention onto what you actually want them to see. Now, one thing we have to be careful of with photographs is that a photograph can be misleading. If you spend any time at all on social media, you know that Instagram photos and things like that are sometimes fake, or they give the impression that things are different than what you're actually seeing. So what you have to watch out for is things like depth and false spatial relations. You notice in these two pictures, the two water bottles look drastically different because of the angle and the zoom on the camera. It really makes it look like one bottle is larger than the other or further away than the other. But notice in the top picture in the upper right hand corner, you see the doorknob way up high in the frame of the picture. So now you realize that the camera was really, really low and close to the red bottle, which is why it looks so huge. What you would want to do is put in some kind of ruler or some kind of reference so that we can get an idea of how big these items actually are. All right, this is the end of part one. We're going to pick up with part two and talk about sketching.